From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LA, direct and surprisingly great from Santa Monica, California, with your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we go over that incredible recon that'll get rubber stamped in less than 24 hours or potentially less than a week. We have all the incredible details of that incredible deal reached last Friday. How does it work? Well, I'll go over all the incredible details. As a deal is reached in your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, with a voting happening as early as tomorrow and then potentially as late as next week. Of all the details of this incredible recording. Then, the price is right. No one really knows what the price is. Does that matter? Apparently for the House, it does not. Then over to the Senate we go, because guess what? Because there's more programs in and there's more programs not coming out, the incredible details in this big afternoon's recording. Then we go over to student loan debt. More debt could be forgiven across the board. And then this stimulus, boy, here we go. This stimulus is your COLA raise and then followed with 2 raises thereafter. It's a big, bold afternoon broadcast. I'm excited you're here. I'm back. I'm here. We're ready to rock and roll. We just need the bacon-orama. Happy birthday to Crayola. I think it's his birthday today, and if it's not, it's his birthday again tomorrow. And with that, the toast was toasting. The Crayola Crown birthday cake is burning, or burning, and this is Afternoons LA. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day and hope the weather is good where you are. I hope you have your calendar out because guess what? A deal was reached last Friday and we could have a vote as early as tomorrow. And you know what also is tomorrow? Another birthday for Crayola. Calendar Colleen has penciled him in for a birthday celebration every day for the rest of the year. But Price is Right, 1.75, not so much. I have the latest details of this recording. Programs in, programs out. We got more money coming on in here that'll pay you about $15,000 across all these incredible classes of checks. Wow. Get ready, because if you're a Purple Hawk and you've done well under third stimulus, you're going to do really well under fourth stimulus. Student loan debt forgiveness. More debt could be forgiven by executive order, and that is coming right around the corner. And then the exciting details of fifth stimulus. Boy, we got a big afternoon's recorder. I'm excited. You're here. We're here. We're not sure how many birthdays we're going to celebrate in this week, but, we'll just keep on repeating it because Calendar Colleen is not keeping track. And this is Afternoons LA, America's most talked about financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is a big overnights crypto and then evenings LA. You don't want to miss tonight's show at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record, and 140 million views for a reason. The most in-depth, the most accurate, and the most detailed conversation and coverage of these recons across the board. Let's go over a broad overview of what this recording is going to have, and it has a lot in there. First, we're going to go over the incredible 3 classes of checks that passed and the 3 add-ons. We're going to go broadly over them. Then, after the commercial break, we'll come back and look at the vote and the dates and the deal reached last Friday. Then, pen and paper ready because we're going to go over all the incredible sums of money in this incredible recon. And with that, let's start with the very beginning. As you look across all this incredible clusters of checks, 3 of them, lots of programs. All these programs, these clusters collectively as a whole pay the viewers on this channel an average of $15,000 across the board. This is fourth stimulus, and if you've been with this channel, then third stimulus. As soon as third stimulus became law, I said you can get about $15,000. But the average viewer of this channel got $45,000 from third stimulus. And the great news is every program that was in third stimulus is repeated in fourth stimulus. So here we go. Get that pen and paper ready. Let's go over broadly the 3 classes of checks, starting with the first. Right now. Hazard pay got in that earned income tax credit. And when you hear in this recording something hard cold cash, it means front end. If I say back end, it's a back end. Hazard pay is a back end. And that's for my essential workers one more year. $4,000 of elder care. It is a front end check. And then they got money for the young children as well. The CTC extended for one more year. And that is a front end hard cold cash check. $550 for the Pels grant for the college students. Hard cold cash check in your hand. Money for your home repairs. If you live in a low-income community, there'll be grants, free money, hard cold cash checks to repair that home. And finally, $12,500 for the purchase price of a new electric vehicle. It is back in, and it got into this recon. And there you go. The first cluster, everything passed. And a House subcommittee 3 weeks ago is going to passage on the House floor by rubber stamp within as early as 24 hours from now or 1 week. We're going to see the details of that's coming up in this video. The first add-on got in there. Oh my goodness. It is from Maxine Waters. And it's the wonderful provision for the first purchase of your first home. Wow. She wanted the price tag at $25,000. She did not get $25,000. Presumably a little bit less. We do not know the number yet. But the first purchase of your first home, it got in there. Hard cold cash checks. Stay with me later in this video. We're going to go over all the details. How you get this money. I know you want that money. Let's go to the second ad. Let's go to the second cluster of checks and let's see what survived the negotiations. Paid leave and family leave is in there, and it's going to finality on the House floor. Paid childcare got in there. Household tax credit got in there. Pre-kindergarten got in there. And tuition-free community college did not. It fell apart and is out. And then money to weatherize your home. Definitely need that hard cold cash to weatherize your home. Because you know Joe Manchin's going to drive up in the driveway in that horrible color of a Maserati. Lock the gates quickly. Weatherize. So, the paid leave and the family leave, hard cold cash checks. How much? A lot. It's coming up later in this video. Pre-kindergarten, hard cold cash checks as well. Stay with me. It's coming up later in this video. Let's go to the second add-on. And wow, it is great. It's from Senator Bob Casey. And that second add-on is for my home health workers, home health patients. Wow. Home health care will be provided to you if you're a senior or person on disability. Bob Casey wanted $250 billion. They got a little bit less, but this is a big win for Bob and Joe Biden. This is the home health care, totally free. If you are on Medicare or Medicaid and you're a senior person on disabilities, they got it in there. Not at $250, but a little bit less. Let's go to the third cluster, and there's a lot in this third cluster. Let's go over each of them slowly. Here we go. Free school meals for all. Got it in there. $65 a month per child. Wow. Cheaper prescription medication got in there, but not a check. Immigration form in there, but not a check. Farmers don't know if it survived. The free internet don't know if it survived. Clean energy out. Independent contractors don't know if it survived. And then the Medicare recipients. Wow. Let's go over all that about the Medicare. So multiple prongs at issue. Dropping the eligibility age of Medicare. Not in there on the House side. Bernie's going to take care of on the Senate side he represents. Hearing, vision, and dental, only hearing so far in the House side. Bernie's going to take care of the other provisions on the Senate side. And then the Medicaid gap fix for the 10 holdout states. Yes, it got in there on the House side. It is huge. And that brings us to the third add-on, which is that multiple IRS stimulus check or monthly IRS stimulus check. We now understand that the reason they're getting this out of the House very quickly, with the House not particularly done with the bill, is because the senators have a lot of stuff to add. In the second half of this video, you're going to see how many senators have so much to add to this recon. And that gives you two opportunities on the Senate side to add an MSE IRS stimulus check. First, you have the opportunity during Vote-A-Rama, and the second one is during Senate subcommittees. Senate Vote-A-Rama, what is it? It's a two-day event at the very end of the process where the senators vote on provisions they want to add into the recon. It's after we finish with the House. It's going over the Senate. After they're done with the Senate, it's a two-day event. It's important. It is hideously important. Under third stimulus, it was the big provision that saved Americans tens of thousands of dollars when Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren put a wonderful provision in there that says the forgiveness of student loan debt is a tax-free event. Before that, it was a taxable event. Chuck and Liz knew that the president was going to forgive student loan debts, let's say $20,000. Whammo, you suddenly have to pay $10,000 of taxes to the IRS out of your pocketbook. You don't have $10,000 sitting around. And so they introduced an amendment because the House never talked about it, never even had a provision about it, making the forgiveness of student loan debt a tax-free event. Second opportunity is a subcommittee, Senate subcommittee. Senate subcommittee definitely need, in my opinion, a situation because there is so much to be done on the Senate side. It says Wyden, Sanders, and others. That is why you want Bernie to take that bill from the House and send it right into that Senate subcommittee, especially his Senate budget subcommittee, because if you want to add a lot of stuff, don't leave it for just 48 hours. And with that brings us the importance of advocating across the board. Advocating is such a critical issue. It's important to advocate because when we head into the Senate, boy, that is the place and moment to advocate. Now, they have a total between congressional senators' offices receive more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the America petition. There you go. Everyone's amazed by the outpouring of touching stories. Now they have a better understanding of what Americans are trying to get through this pandemic because of the LA viewers. They have heartbreaking stories in the LA viewers, and they are the voice of the people in LA, across the nation, as LA have become too loud to be ignored. Very, very kind words. Let's read the last sentence on air. The please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy. As the professional voice of the people you have become, and continue this until it becomes law. Wow, very, very kind, but very important. A week ago, 3 provisions not in the recon on the House side. They advocated, they pushed each legislator for what they wanted. They got it in there. As we go to the Senate side, Bernie and Ron Wyden says there's a lot of provisions missing. We're going to add them in there. Our provision, not in there that we're looking at, that MSC for the House side. So when we go to the Senate side, a lot of opportunities as a lot of pushing is going to go underway. In the second half of this video, we got a lot coming up. We have a deal. But could the vote happen tomorrow? You know what Nancy does on Thursday nights? If you don't, then stay with me, because a vote could happen as early as tomorrow afternoon. How about that congressional budget report? Can you cue up calendar calling? She's keeping track of Crayola's birthday. Is she keeping track of that CBO report? Hasn't been released. All the latest details. Then more programs in and programs out. It's incredible. You're going to see how on this channel, the programs across the board from this fourth stimulus recon will pay you on average collectively across all these incredible checks, at least $15,000. It's huge. Then we go to student loan debt forgiveness. More debt could be forgiven. We got those incredible details coming up in the second half of this video. And then we have the big fifth stimulus. Boy, we are just getting started. It's a big afternoon. I'm excited you're here. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as the excitement on this huge afternoon to LA continues. See you back in 60 seconds. But first, here is a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues with a potential vote as early as tomorrow, because a deal was reached last Friday. How does this work? I'll have the latest details. Will that CBO report be released by the end of today, and could the vote be ready for tomorrow? The price is right, not so much, but programs in, programs out. I have all the latest details. Big money, huge money, across all these incredible classes of checks. The biggest payouts you've ever seen in the history of this channel. I'm excited for you. Here we go. Student loan debt forgiveness. More debt could be forgiven across the board. I have the latest details in the second half of this video. And then we turn to fifth stimulus, because fifth stimulus is coming right behind the corner, and it's for my seniors, SSI and SSDI. We got a huge second half of this recording. I hope you have your pen and paper ready, because we got big money coming up. And this is LA, America's most talked about financial news channel. with the most comprehensive, the most in-depth, and the most accurate recordings you are seeing across the globe. No less than 16 shows per day, hundreds of hours of programming per day, and coming up next is Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. You don't want to miss that show. The latest update of the incredible process at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then we got our new triple header, Evenings Countdown at 6. Then Street and Stimulus at 7. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. Here we go, right into the second half of this video. It's huge. It's huge, and yet it's confusing. Last Friday, Nancy reaches an incredible agreement about the recon. And even for the most advanced viewer and the most beginning viewer, it could be complicated. So let me explain it to you very simply. There's two separate bodies of legislations. One is the roads and bridges, also called the infrastructure. That does not concern you, not checks for you. And that was finished last Friday. The other body of legislation is your legislation. That is recon, also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill, also called the Democrat spending bill. We, when we're looking at the recon, only need Democratic votes for it to pass because that's why it's going by reconciliation. But other Democrats, there is a two-split front. We have two groups in the Democratic Party. First, we have the progressive Democrats who more like the recon, and the moderate Democrats who more like the roads and bridges. Both parts of the Democratic caucus like the other bill. They just like theirs more. So, what happened last Friday? John LaPaul, who's head of the Progressives, said to the moderate Democrats led by Gothenheimer, we are calling the vote on the roads and on the recon first, and we're voting against your roads and bridges. To which the moderate Democrats said back the reverse. We're voting against your recon unless you call the vote on the roads and bridges first. So what did Nancy Pelosi do? Nancy Pelosi on a Friday night does the best thing she does, reaches deals, and she got an incredible jaw-dropping deal that makes so much sense, but is so good, it's mind-blowing. What was the deal? She had the moderate Democrats raise their hand and vote in the congressional record, and also sign with pen and paper their name and on a piece of paper, and then say eye to eye the following words. The moderate Democrats will uncategorically vote in favor of the recon as soon as the Congressional Budget Office report is released about the recon no later than the week of November 15th. Wow, that's a lot in that sentence. Let's go over it slowly. First, the moderate Democrats agree to vote in favor of the recon. Whoa. So why not do it last Friday? Because they're waiting for something. That's the second part of the sentence. They will vote in favor of the recon as soon as they get the Congressional Budget Office report. Oh, so does that mean they get the report, they don't like it, they could change their mind and vote against the recon? No. Nancy and the Progressives saw this coming a mile away. So the agreement was just get that report and you're voting in favor of the recon. So why have the report? My opinion is they want that report to go over to the Senate. They want the Senate to deal with the situation. If the report is good or the report is bad. Okay, so what's the last part of the sentence? No later than the week of November 15th. So let's go over that. Does that mean the vote is on November 15th? No. Does it mean the week of November 15th? No. Does it mean it could happen this week? It could. So what's the issue about when the vote happens? It's all dependent upon when they order the Congressional Budget Office report and when it's released. I've been featuring that Congressional Budget Office report for over a week when Senator Bob Menendez, Democrat, said, you know what, we need this report. Did they order it last Tuesday when I featured it on this channel? They may have. If they did, we could see the report potentially as early as the later part of today. If that's the case, we're going to go right into voting. Now, if you've been watching what the senators and House members are doing, the House members are not in session. In session means that they're opened the door for the House floor where they vote. If they're not in session, does not mean they're in the South Pacific with the key locked and inside of Nancy's hair. No. At Mitch's Lobster Fest. No. It means they're down the hall with Nancy's key in her hair. So there you go. Steny Hoyer, the majority leader of the House, would simply say, hey, we got the CBO report released. Get your butts back into the hall. We're going to vote within 24 hours. And it's as simple as that. What does this Congressional Budget Office report say? The Congressional Budget Office report would say what is the recon, how much it's going to cost, how much the programs are going to cost, and is the entire Congressional budget is the entire recon paid for by itself? The President of the United States addressing the American people on a Saturday morning last Saturday said it is. Untrue, because his joint taxation report prepared by Democrats said no. Nearly $500 billion of the recon is not paid for. So there you go. That incredible deal signals that we could potentially have a vote as early as tomorrow. But why do I say tomorrow? Because you know what Thursday night is. Seinfeld? No. Thursday night is Nancy Pelosi's most beloved hour to vote on anything. Over the last 2 months, Nancy Pelosi loves to vote on Thursday nights at midnight. It doesn't matter what she's voting on. Just vote on something. As a young child, Nancy would say, Mommy, it's Thursday night. We got to vote on something. Honey, go to bed. It's 11 midnight. It's midnight. No, we're going to vote on Care Bears versus Panda Bears. So there you go. The last 2 months, Nancy Pelosi has called a vote on something every Thursday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So warning, take a nap tomorrow, because if we get that Congressional Budget Office report, they will rush in to vote because Nancy loves that Thursday night. So there you go. You want to hear the actual statement from the moderate Democrats? Here we go. We commit to voting in favor of the recon. Its current form, and we will get it done as soon as we get the Congressional Budget Office report, but no later than the week of November 15th. Well, here we go. Price tag 1.75, not true. Why? Because that was over a week ago when 3 provisions were missing. And last week I said all 3 would go in, and they did get them in. First one, paid leave, $200 billion. Well, then you're suddenly at 1.95. Then cheaper prescription medication, that's not free. And then salt, that's not free. So we're over $2 trillion. Let's go over the calculations. Here we go. Here comes the big moolah. Get that pen and paper ready. And we're going to start with the paid leave and family leave. It's thousands of dollars. First, what is it? How much does it pay? And how do you get it? Paid leave and family leave is the following. You have to stay home because of the birth of a new child, or you have to stay home because of illness or death of a family member, household member, or yourself. Not COVID related, just in general. So if you look back at the last year, have you had to stay home from work for 3 days because your son twisted his ankle? Did you have to stay home from work because you had to take your wife to a dental procedure? Did you have to stay home from work yourself because you twisted your leg to run a pickup basketball game on a Saturday morning? That's all paid leave. How much does it pay? A fortune. Under third stimulus is supposed to pay $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year, split in half. $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year, split in half. $15,000 annual salary, $400 a week. How many weeks? 4. Oh boy, 4 times $1,700. That's $5,000-$6,000. Yes, up to 4 weeks per year. And here comes the best part of it. The eligibility. Nancy got it in at the broadest eligibility possible, all income levels, all type of workers. So W-2 or 1099. Uber Lyft driver who makes only $20,000 a year, wife is pregnant, giving birth, yes, you get a check from the federal government. Hard, cold cash checks. Then let's say you work at a department store and make 6 figures a year, single parent, single individual, yes, hard, cold cash checks for you across the board. It's incredible. Again, that price tag is $200 billion, so we are clearly over 1.9. The second provision added in there that I said was going to be added in there is SALT. What is SALT? SALT is very simple. When you go to pay your state taxes and you file that state tax return, you pay for state and local taxes. Let's say you pay $15,000 of state and local taxes and you put it on that state tax return. Then when you go over to the federal tax return, you can deduct. Under the law, under the tax code, you can deduct the state and local taxes. But there's a problem. You paid $15,000 under the Trump 2017 tax code change. You can only deduct up to $10,000. Big problem for big states with big tax burdens like New York and New Jersey. Gothenheimer got it in here, and here we go. $72,500 can you now deduct under the recon for what you pay on state and local taxes. You can deduct on the federal return. They got $40 billion in this recon for job training. Huge. Really, really good. So if the job of being a troll 24/7 is not really working out for you, you can you can now take a new job with free job training, $40 billion of it. The Medicare gap fix. The Medicare gap fix got in there, and it is great, but it's really confusing. Let's explain what it is. When Obamacare became a law of the land, 12 Republican-led governor states said, we'll offer it to our citizens, but we are not paying for it. We call those the 12 holdout states, where Obamacare was not paid for by those Republican states. Joe Manchin saw the problem. Everyone saw the problem. I saw it as a problem. And Coming in was Raphael Warnock, Democratic Senator from Georgia, and Jim Clyburn from the Carolinas. Found a solution, a workaround to that 12 hold house states, and here it goes: free subsidized private insurance subsidized private insurance for low-income people through those 12 states. It's huge, great news across the board. Immigration reform got into this recon, but it's not a check. There is no check for any immigrant in the recon or the roads and bridges. So if you watch that particular news channel that has an animal as its name, yeah, it's a faux story. So what's going on? What's going on is the following. Again, there's no check for any immigrant in the recon or the roads and bridges. But during the Trump administration, thousands of immigrants were separated at the border, parents and children. Of those, a few hundred filed lawsuits in federal court. Those few hundred lawsuits are going to settlement negotiations. The settlement attorneys are asking for $450,000 settlement offers. The president has said, I'm not paying for that amount, but I will settle the cases. If he does settle the cases, that money is not coming out of the recon. There you go. Here comes the great news. Housing assistance, $150 billion for housing. Wow. I've been telling viewers of this channel, if you have questions, send me, and they're complicated and complex and advanced, PhD type questions, send to me on private message. I'll feature for them potentially on air. This is where the excitement heats up, and your questions have been incredible. Under third stimulus, as soon as third stimulus became law, I said, sure, $1,400 stimulus check, groovy. I'm going to get you on average about $15,000 from third stimulus. The average viewer from third stimulus have gotten $45,000 from this channel, and many have gotten far in excess of $100,000 from third stimulus. Why? Because of rent, utilities, mortgages, SNAP, and they've been able to get multiple rounds because they qualify for multiple rounds. You don't have to be behind on the rent. I show you the 6 places you reach out to in those great videos. The difference then was that there was $47 billion of money that got the viewers on average about $40,000. Fourth stimulus has $150 billion. Imagine how much more money you're going to get under fourth stimulus. Yes, you can get another round. And imagine if you got $40,000 from third stimulus when it was $47 billion, how much you're going to get when it's $150 billion. That is how you're going to get far in excess of $15,000 from this credible fourth stimulus recon. Now, we're just getting started there because it also has the home repairs for a low-income community. So here come some of those questions that I've got. One viewer said, leaky roof, where does that get fixed? Under third stimulus, the nonprofits have been paying for nominal home repairs, like a broken window, to make sure you're not cold or freezing or water getting on you. So that's $100, $150 repair. They're not going to do a $35,000 roof under the nonprofits under third stimulus. But this is where it kicks in under fourth stimulus for those low-income communities. Then we have the purchase price of your first home. Lots of questions about this. Ryan asking, what type of home? I want to buy a mobile home. We have to look at the language. Likely that's covered. What type of first time? One viewer said, I am single now, but I did buy a first home when we were married. I'm now a single person. Am I first time? Because it would be my first time by myself. Great question. Don't know. And then we have the question of what income level. One viewer said, what income level you qualify for. We haven't heard that there is an income level at issue. So this is all across the board. This is money you would get during the escrow. Either it's paid to the seller in your name by the federal government or given to you during escrow to give to the seller. The next pot of money is $150 billion for home health care for older people and people on disabilities. Wow. One viewer sent me a beautiful message saying, I already receive these services. I want to know if the people who are helping me, the actual medical workers, are they going to get something? And I saw in the language that they would get a better quality of work life. I don't know the details of it yet. We're going to watch that together. Keep those great questions coming. $550 boost to people who are on the Pell Grant. So there's a hard cold cash check. One question came about this. One viewer said, I was on the Pell Grant last year. I graduated last year. Do I get this? No. So you would have to be on the Pell Grant when this becomes law. I do not know if even if you were on the Pell Grant early in 2021 and this becomes law later in 2021, if you can get a retro, I believe not. So it's current Pell Grant recipients. Then the big surprise is $12,500 for the purchase price of an electric vehicle from a union shop. This is a back-end check. And no one saw this coming because it was $7,500 for many, many years, and it was $7,500 just 2 weeks ago. It grew to $12,500, to which one viewer sent me a message on Instagram. He said, I want to buy the new Hyundai hybrid. I said, great, it's not covered. Oh, number one, Hyundai, not covered. Number two, hybrid, not covered. It has to be a union shop. Ford, GM, Chrysler, all the GM products, Chevy, Cadillac, things like that. Then it has to be electric, so not hybrid. And yeah, it's a lot. It's $12,500. Then they got in there $10 billion for children's nutrition, which is $65 per month when the child is not in school. So one person asked me, is this per child? It is. So if you have two children, it's $65 per child when they're not in school. 9 million students. What age of student? I believe it is grade school or younger. So we don't have any more other details at the moment. There you go. Let's go to the third add-on of programs in and programs out. Here we go. The third add-on is the cheaper prescription medication. A big win by the president. If there was one thing I could do, I would love to shake the president's hand, thank him for this provision, and with the other hand say, can you fire the people in your press team who did not do this situation right? Let me go over the details. The great deal the president reached is cheaper prescription medication for my seniors on Medicare and Medicaid starting as soon as this becomes law. It's huge. Let's back up to understand what's at issue. Over 20 years ago, Medicare was rolled out, and under the charter establishment, Medicare cannot negotiate prices of medication with pharmaceutical companies, Big Pharma. So if Big Pharma wants to charge $1,000 to insulin to Medicare, Medicare has to pay for it. Last Saturday's Morning to LA, live on air, asked viewers to tell me how much you're paying for insulin if you're on Medicare. Mark's wife, $950. Kathy or Mary, I think it was $500, $750. Big sums of money. Under this recon, $35. Wow. So what happened? 2 Wednesdays ago, the president does the best thing he does, no better than anyone else, negotiate. He picked up the phone, called Kristen Sinema directly and says, you know what, Kristen, you need to come on board. It's been too many months. You're opposing this. You need to come on board and do this. And she said yes. He got an agreement, and she is blessing the entire recon. This was the biggest win of the president of this entire recon. Huge, game-changing savings for my seniors' lifetime. Now, what was the bad thing with the press department? No one covered it. They wanted to talk only about climate and Rome. This was the subject to discuss. This last weekend, Democratic and analysts said, you know what? These things are all fine if the people get the benefits in their wallet and their hands right away. You can't do esoteric, in the clouds sort of notions. They need to see immediate savings to their wallet. This is an immediate savings to their wallet. The minute this becomes law in the Senate, you instantly go from $900 a prescription to $35 if you're Mark's wife. So let's go over the details. Starting immediately, there'll be 20 prescription medications that will have to go under good faith negotiations between Medicare and also Big Pharma, and those medications will be slashed dramatically. Then they cannot increase more than the rate of inflation every year. And the medication will grow up to 30 prescription medications by the year 2028. This is Medicare Part D and Medicare Part B. It includes the most expensive medications across the board, like cancer, arthritis, and diabetes medication. Ron Wyden says, for the first time, the government will no longer have its hands tied behind its back. Chuck Schumer says, get ready because I'm going to take a bite out of this next. Absolutely, he's going to be back with this more next year. Scott Peters says it is really good for seniors. Dick Durbin praised it. Jan Skakowski praised it as well. What is likely to happen by the end of this week? We are likely to see the ruling from the Senate parliamentarian. Who is she? She's a government official, and she's not partisan. Her job is to look at the rules of the Senate and say what provisions do and don't belong by recon. To it, issue immigration reform and then paid leave. I believe that the immigration reform will go out. She previously ruled it does not belong by recon. The paid leave, I have no idea across the board. Which then brings us to what the Senate is doing next. It's important to understand that while a deal has been reached to the House, the senators say they got a lot of work to do. So that is why the House members are sending it over to the Senate as quickly as possible. Over a week ago, Bernie Sanders says it's the best bill since the 1960s, but it has some major gaps. Those gaps are still there tonight. When asked, are you adding stuff in there? He says, of course I am. It's unconscionable that they do not have dental vision taken care of. We have similar comments across the board, like Ron Wyden, senator, who says that we need to do a lot of work. There's a significant amount of work still to do. Chris Coons, we have Chuck, and we have Senator Murphy and Senator Stabenow all saying that changes are coming on the Senate side. Which brings us back to some more provisions. So get that pen and paper ready because we're going to go with some more of those provisions starting right now. First, universal pre-kindergarten. So this is a hard cold cash check. This is 3 to 4 year olds, 1 year. The earned income tax credit, hard cold cash check, $3,600 or $3,000, 1 year. But the eligibility, I show it at $60,000 a household. They show it at $150,000. I don't know what's going on. The earned income tax credit, 1 more year, and that is a back-end check. And then the home health care, yes, new covered benefit. Hearing aid, the hearing aid, likely a covered check or just a hard cold cash check or just a covered benefit. And then we go to our home assistance, just huge, $150 billion. This is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, weatherizing, home repairs, purchase price of your first home, all hard, cold cash checks. Then we got $65 per month per child when the kids are not in school, and that is huge. And then when they are in school, that money is covered as a benefit. And then the Pell Grant, hard, cold cash checks of $550. What is next if we get out of the House tomorrow and go over the Senate? Next in the Senate, a lot of changes, and this is where Bernie Sanders says, I got stuff to add. Bernie's made very obvious what he wants to add. To start, he wants dental and vision. He says we're the wealthiest country, and Americans have no teeth in the mouth they cannot see. So how much would this be? Both provisions were hard cold cash checks in the House legislation before they got removed. When we look at dental, it last was in the recon at $850 checks, hard cold cash checks to you, but removed. Bernie wants dental a 10-year full benefit program. He doesn't want voucher checks. He wants a full covered program. Then he wanted 3 years. Now it was reduced to $850. We'll see if he gets it there as well. But the more obvious one is the vision. The vision is so easy across the board. The vision, Bernie says, an eye exam and also a pair of glasses. Well, that's $150. That's $100, and then $50, $150 a year. For example, just put that check in the mail per year to seniors on Medicare. Very, very simple. Let's go over some final numbers and see where the numbers don't line up. Tax credit, I show $60,000. Then clean energy out, health insurance in there, a little bit less years. Housing aid, $175. In-home health care, wow, it's incredible, great news. Let's go over to student loan debt before I have my opinion of the situation on this recon. Student loan debt, more debt could be forgiven across the board. The president has offered to forgive $10,000 of student loan debt if you are a person carrying it. Any eligibility. Democrats should take it. This is not the only offer. Just take this offer for now and then see what you can do next year. President previously forgave student loan debts for people who became disabled after graduation, for people who went into the nonprofit sector, and people who became public servants, city, county, state, and federal government 10 years after graduation. Then the big money from that COLA raise. Fifth stimulus is coming right behind that COLA raise, 5.9%. Have you gotten that letter? That letter says your benefits are going up next year, 5.9%, but get ready for the fifth stimulus right behind it. Raise your benefits up if you're on an SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits. Then applies a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation, as Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, said my number last week. I've been saying 2 to 3% next December 2022. That means you would get 1, 2, 3 lifts up across the board. They'll remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? The link is under the video. Become a member today because third stimulus is still paying out. It is still paying out rent and utilities and mortgage assistance and SNAP. It's much like 2020. When we were waiting for second stimulus to happen, but I was showing people in fall 2020, here's all this big money to get, and they got it. And when second stimulus became law, I said, get ready for third stimulus because all this money is in there. When third stimulus became law, I said, I can get you $15,000. Average viewer, $45,000. Get that newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system that features all the big money in there that you can get across all these incredible programs. So consider becoming a member and get that newsletter tonight. And finally, my opinion of the situation as we go into a big evening across the board. You know, we're getting really close, waiting for that CBO report to be released. What will that CBO report say, and how soon will it be released? At the moment, we don't really care what the CBO report says because it does not have any bearing on the House. The House will get the report, Standing Authority will order the House back into session, they will vote, they will be done, and off to the Senate we go. Some viewers said, what does rubber stamp mean? It's an expression that simply says, it's a done deal. All you do is you call the vote and bam, we're done. Rubber stamp, meaning it's just ceremonial. They've already agreed to this recon on the House side. We're going over to the Senate side. But meantime, despite all that, if you look across the landscape of social media, you still see those strange three verbs circulating. What are those three verbs? Promised, predicted, and said. People use those verbs for meanings that they were never embodied for. And it's very important as we go from House to Senate to understand that's not how legislation works. You're going to have a House bill passed in the House as early as tomorrow and as late as next week. That House bill will be passed. It will be a complete universe of an instrument. It will go over the Senate. It will then get changed. How it get changed, we will see. But if you see something in the House bill that you love passed and it does not survive on the Senate, it does not mean that the senators it does not mean something was done wrong by the House members. For example, let's say Nancy Pelosi put something in this House bill and it's finished and it's done and voted on tomorrow. And you're like, yes, I'm excited for it. And then it goes over to the Senate and the senators take it out. Oh no. Well, not time or place to say Nancy promised me that money. No, she just put that provision in the bill. It's the senators who took it out on you. She didn't promise to you. She just tried to put the effort in there. Let's use the word predicted. Nancy predicted it was going to pass. Well, everything changes. It's hard for a person to predict the nuances of every legislator involved in a process. Finally said. Nancy said she was going to put that provision in the House, and she did. So why is it not in the Senate version? Because the senators can do things differently. It's important to understand that when you're looking at bodies of legislation, you have a House and you have a Senate that both have to pass law. Both House and Senate have to pass a law. Of that, you got people who have different opinions. Sometimes people think that everyone agrees on things. They don't. And simply because someone disagrees on something doesn't mean they're a bad person. They just don't agree on how to confront the situation. You have dozens of senators who are Democrats, and you have hundreds that are House Democrats. As we go into the Senate, we have those senators Warren, Wyden, Sanders, Schumer, Casey, Coons, who have told thousands of viewers over the last few weeks they are inserting at least one stimulus check in there. But you need to remember, they say that, but it only takes one senator, Democrat, to say, no, I don't want to give it to you. I don't want to give it to you. Does that mean that the comment by Liz Warren is any less significant than it was? No, she made her effort. But that one guy or gal senator said, no, I don't want to give it to the American people, and you don't get it. It happened in 2020 when Nancy Pelosi sent the HEROES Act over to Mitch McConnell. You're supposed to get $10,000 of hazard pay. Not guaranteed, not promised, not predicted, just in the body of legislation. And ultimately what happened was he said no. Took it out, threw it to the wastebasket, never called her for a vote. So as we go into a big evening's LA, we got a lot coming across the board. I'm excited for you. So with that, join me next in 2 hours from now as Evenings LA heats up at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Big new recording. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful afternoon, and I'll see you next as Evenings LA heats up.